Changing colors on a desktop injection molding machine. Welcome to another episode. Most of my machines are desktop injection molding machines, and one of the characteristics of them is they have a cylinder and a barrel. They don't have a screw. Screws are what most injection molding machines have, and that's what's used to mix the plastic together. But even in those machines, when you change colors, there are things you need to do. Now, in the past, I've almost entirely used a single plastic, which is gray polystyrene, sometimes black polystyrene, and that's it. In the last episode, you saw that I had some problems because I switched from a green to a light or color, which was these orange pellets here. And I had a lot of problems getting the green out. So in this episode, what I'm going to do is show you how I managed to get the green out and was able to make successful parts. I have some white polypropylene, so I'm going to use that to see if I can purge all of the color from here. So I've emptied the hopper, which you can't see, and I'm going to put some of this white polypropylene into it, and then just start purging. And someone recommended that I go quickly, so I have it up to about 190 psi. Okay, I can definitely see that becoming clear. And I can see some green still in there. So for whatever reason, the green is just sticking. So I'm going to keep trying this and see if it makes a difference. So I need some more of the polypropylene. It's just white pellets. Yeah, more green. And it's definitely green. So there was some speculation that I was actually getting burning, but I can see, and I'll try to show you when it cools down, that it's definitely green. So you can see the green that is embedded in there. And so for some reason it's just sticking to something inside the machine. Okay, I don't see any green in this one. So I'll do a few more purges and see if the green is gone. Well, there's some more green. So I'm just going to keep purging and I'll come back. All right, so I purged about a cup of polypropylene through it, and then I refilled it with the orange. And so I'm starting to, and then purged that a few times to get it so that it looked more like this. And so now I'm ready to run some parts. It's definitely filling, and that looks good. It's a nice dark, or I should say rich, orange. Yep, so I thought I had it coming out. And there's no green left. So, success. I'm going to go ahead and make a few, and I'll be able to send them off to the viewer. I put some blue pellets in about 10 or 15 parts ago. So it's taking a while for the blue to make its way through the barrel and into the parts. It's still orange. So I'm not sure how many parts it's going to take before I start to see some blue. But it's still completely orange. So I'll bring it back when it starts to turn blue. Okay, I'm just starting to see some blue come in. I don't know if you can see that very well because I can't see the monitor, well, the camera screen very well, but there's just a tiny bit of blue. So that means within a few parts we'll see how quickly this completely turns blue. One of the things I'm doing is using a principle that I learned about, which is which makes sense, to go from dark colors to light colors to dark colors. And then that way it'll turn, yeah, you can see much better on the back side. So going from light colors to dark colors, the dark color will take over a lot faster than it'll be replaced by a light color. So that was the first part showing any blue. Let's take a look at the second part and see how quickly it changes. And I can already see it's starting to change. It's kind of becoming a green, I think. Yeah, look at that. You can really see how it's starting to change quickly. And I've kind of learned how to get this out fairly quickly. So it's not that big of a deal. I mean, with taking it out like that, I'm guessing I'm making about 100 parts an hour instead of 120 parts an hour. So given that it was a lot less work to make the mold, and therefore a lot cheaper, and given that you just needed a small number of parts, it makes sense not to do something that, you know, like ejector pins or something else. Yeah, look how quickly that's changing. Or something else that would make it easier to get it out of the mold. And it's actually not unusual, talking to other companies that do like model train parts, for them to use a knife or something else to get the parts out of the mold. So that's not at all unusual. Yeah, it's almost there. There's a little bit of orange left, some green around it, and then a nice deep blue. Oops. Now I could have purged it, which would have been a faster way to change over to the dark blue, but I just thought it would be interesting to see how quickly it changed, going from light color to a dark color. Yeah, and it's changing pretty quickly. I think I will do one purge to speed it along. And then it should be fully blue. Okay, so I'm going to put this back in and put it on the edge here. And by the way, the reason I have to use an edge is because this is an anti-drool nozzle, so it needs to be depressed in a little bit to release the plastic. The plastic won't come out otherwise. Okay. So you can see there's still a little bit of orange left, in it, some orange stripes. Let me bring it up to the camera so you can have a look. And I'm keeping my hand away from it, but you can see those orange stripes, and that tells me I probably need to do a couple more purges before I get rid of the orange. So I'm going to grab some more of the blue pellets and put them into the hopper. And then put this back into the purging position and do another purge. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to mold some parts after this. Yep, a lot less orange. So that's not a full purge, but I want to see how the part turns out at this point without doing a full purge. And one thing I've learned from this is to be patient with doing it. Yep, there's still some orange in there. So what this is telling me that I have to be patient and do a full purge cycle with maybe half a cup of the pellets to completely get the previous color out before I move on. With the polypropylene, I'm not sure how much I used, but somewhere between half a cup and a cup of polypropylene. Okay, that's almost there. I can just barely see a little bit of orange, so I'm going to do one more purge, and then I should be okay to make some parts. And one more. It's pretty fast to purge this way. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so I'll make a part at this point. And notice how nice it is having that stop. It makes it super easy to put it into a reproducible position every time. Okay, and what happened here is I got a short shot. And the reason I got a short shot is because purging pushes a lot of material through the cylinder, and it didn't have time to completely heat up since the last purge cycle. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. This may have been long enough, and then I'll try making another part and see how that comes out. Oh, I know what the problem is. I forgot to set the timer back to 7 seconds. So this is almost certainly going to be another short shot. And yes, indeed it is. There we go. That looks perfect. I don't see any orange left over. It's a nice deep blue color. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to make a few more, and then I'll show you the final set that I have done that I'll send off to the viewer. I'm pretty much done making the blue parts. And so one of the things I decided to do is to end the session by putting some more polypropylene into the hopper, and then doing a purge on the machine to get a lot of the ABS out of the machine, and see if that makes a difference next time. When I put the polypropylene in, I had about 4 of the blue parts, and you can see that I have quite a few blue parts now. And this is the first part that is showing the transition, and you can see right there some polypropylene. which comes out clear initially and then turns white as it cools down. So at this point I'm going to stop making parts and do a purge to try to get rid of a lot of the extra ABS. So I leave the machine with in a fairly clean state. Polypropylene pellets are kind of round and they like to jump out quite a bit. So I'm going to put my hand around it like this and try to keep more of them inside. There we go. I'm going to have to build something up that goes around this and keeps the pellets from jumping all over the place. So somehow or other I nicked this, and there's a hole in there now. So I've turned the pressure off. Oops, not the clamping pressure. So there's a little hole in there, and what I'm trying to do is push on these so I can pull this out. And then what I can do is I can cut this short. This tube is plenty long enough. As I say, I'm not quite sure what I did to cause it to do that. There we go. So it's a nice little blister in there. So what may have happened is I may have put some hot plastic right there. Anyway, this is really easy to fix. I'm just going to put it like this, and I want to have a nice clean cut this way. And so there I have a clean cut. And so then I can just push it back in. And now I should be able to turn the clamping pressure back on. There we go. And now it's working again, and then I can turn this one down as well. So I'll turn this pressure back up. And then continue purging. And it's getting much clearer. And actually that's probably fine because the next color I'm going to be using is green. And so this should work just fine. These are all the pieces that I made. And I have these side cutters that I use to cut off the gate. And so it doesn't take very long to cut these off. And, you know, I could let my viewer do this, but I don't know, it just seems like I should be sending these off with all of the gates removed. This, by the way, is the bag of polypropylene, one of several bags that I have that I use to purge the machine. The purging is something that I now realize that I need to pay more attention to. I'm not really sure what happened with the green. When I purged the orange, or the blue I should say, at the end, I didn't see the same behavior that I saw with the green. Now I did leave the green in the barrel in between using it a few times, so it's possible that during the heat up and cool down cycle, doing that several times did something to the plastic, perhaps degraded it or something else that caused it to stick in the barrel or the nozzle in a way that it didn't otherwise. But running the polypropylene through took care of that. The other thing I learned from someone is using higher pressure so that the polypropylene goes through faster seems to help clear it out as well. So anyway, now I'm happy that I have a known way to switch from one color plastic to another. And this is another step in my journey to learn how to use these machines and to use different colors, etc. At some point I'm going to make my own custom filament so that I can create my own colors, but I haven't gotten there yet. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, comment below, and I'll see you next time.